Rainier Avenue Radio. We have completed one game as we start the season. We saw Franklin with a 52-38 win over Holy Names. A game that Franklin led pretty much the entire game. Nice crisp passing by Franklin, but Holy Names didn't quit once they got their feet under them. They made a little run at the end, and so it was a good game, good way to start off the season here. And now we're going to have O'Day and Franklin, and joining me, Rick Dupree. What's happening, Rick?
Hey, welcome, man. Good to be here. Good to be here. Welcome to our listeners as we go game 2 of the doubleheader. Gotta love that, man. Basketball is back.
Yeah, basketball is back. And looks like we got the announcement of the starting lineups now.
Yeah, it's interesting for our listeners and our viewers, and obviously people, you can check it out on our YouTube page, Facebook, or Twitch. But, Tony, interesting with all of the protocols here, the players will be playing with masks on. No longer do you have the bench on the sideline. The chairs are all 6 feet apart and in rows and what have you. But you know what? With all of that, they're out here. They get to play, and I'm sure they are excited to be out here on the court.
And similar to football initially, it's eerily quiet.
Yeah. We have a very, very small, crowd here, and I'm not sure what the protocols are. If it's just a couple families, because I know football, what they expanded when we started having fans the last few weeks was each player could have up to a couple of family members. So again, a small crowd, a little bit of cheer squad, and man, it's just exciting to be back in the gym.
Yeah, and so we have one side of bleachers, which is where we are, and then it looks like most of the folks here now are players from the girls' game.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, the players are all spread out. You can probably see that on the camera. The bleachers are pushed in. So I don't know, Rick, other than the Franklin girls squad, maybe 10, 15 people.
Yeah, exactly. So small crowd, but and it's great to have a crowd, but man, when you have not been able to get out and play for a year, whether there's fans here or not, and let me ask you, how does it feel for you being back in your alma mater, the gym that you spent a lot of time in?
I did. I mentioned that when we first got here, Rick, and I'm thinking about it, but you're exactly right. How many times you go out to the hard top? You don't play for fans, you play for fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Justice for all, yes.
And it's interesting. It brings back memories because for 4 years we did back in the early 90s. We did the KC Jones basketball camps, 92, 93, 94, 95. And we had a partnership with the Seattle Parks and Rec Department, and we were right here in this gym.
And we're underway. So O'Day with the ball into the lane, a nice pass to Debiak, and then Max DeBeck. I guess that's what it is.
DeBeck, yeah.
Max DeBeck with a layup for two. Franklin in the front court. Tariq Harris. Harris pulls up for three. Doesn't go. Rebound by DeBeck. DeBeck up to Jay Perkins. Perkins between the legs. Jalen Ellis thinks about it. Does take the three. Rebounded by DeBeck. Owen Moriarty. Ball goes inside. Perkins puts it up. Doesn't go.
Yeah, DeJay, nice drive. Just couldn't finish it. And Franklin with the ball.
Tariq Harris in the front court. Goes left, puts a shot up with the right hand. DeBeck with another rebound quickly into front court. Moriarty pass over to the left side and a layup.
Takeo Staten Sylvester. Yeah, that was a nice break, Tony, and they just attacked the basket.
And quickly down to the other side, Earl Riley the third.
Yeah, don't forget the third, 5'6", and put it in there to get Franklin on the scoreboard.
Perkins with the ball out on top. DeBeck down low. I think we're going to get a little hop, skip, and jump there.
Yeah.
So early on, 4-2, O'Day in front of Franklin. Earl Riley the third, junior at 5'6", brings the ball in the front court. O'Day in man-to-man defense. Riley attempts to go around the defender there, and that's
think Jalen Ellis, they called a blocking foul on him there.
And so quickly into the game, Amari Harris, a freshman, comes in for Takay Jeffcoat. Harris again with the ball out on top between his legs. Jamari Jackson Cairns picks up the dribble. Tariq Harris for a little 6-foot fadeaway shot that doesn't go. Divick fights for the rebound. Finds an open player up court. And Takeo Staten Sylvester with the layup.
And Staten Sylvester, a junior, we saw him last year as a sophomore, and he has filled out a little bit. And yeah, I tell you what.
And so a shot, Tariq Harris puts it up. Bucket by Franklin, quickly down the other way. And Divick jams it home.
The two-hander with authority.
Nice feed there from Owen Moriarty. Franklin quickly back the other way and loses the ball, and we could have something dangerous happen here. And just a nice little layup from Jalen Ellis. 10-4 now, 5:06 here to go in the first quarter. Tony B and Rick Dupree. Rick, we're back, basketball, and AJ's here. This was his stomping grounds.
Yes, it was. The gym that AJ Brooks built. We are here. Another basket by O'Day, and the timeout, Tony, and O'Day leading at 12-4. So they have gotten out quickly here, and they are running the fast break, tight defense. And what O'Day's doing is a tight man-to-man defense, Tony, but they also have great help. And the big guy, Max Debick, is coming over and really helping out. And their defense has just been smothering Franklin.
Yeah, Franklin hasn't really gotten into a flow offensively. Did have a couple buckets, but as you said, Rick, a lot of that has to do with the tight O'Day defense.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jason Kerr and his staff are doing a great job over there and making sure that they and that's something O'Day is known for, And Jason Kerr, obviously, remember Jason? I mean, coach here at Franklin, won a state title, and has won a state title with O'Day as well. 1 or 2. I think it was 2 here at Franklin, then the one with O'Day, and so.
So I'm going to turn play-by-play over to Rick Dupree.
All right, and Franklin with the ball, and again O'Day with the tight defense. And that was Takai Jeffcoat. He loses the ball, and back O'Day on the run. Full court pass, and DeJay Perkins with the lay-in, giving O'Day a 14-4 lead. And Franklin back across half court, and they're on the run, and the ball is knocked out of bounds. So the Quakers will have it with 23 on the shot clock. And Tony, I tell you what, Franklin and this, Franklin's going to try to. They're going to have to try to pick up the pace and really get down, get some fast break, get some easy buckets. Because right now, when they get in that half court offense, they've really struggled. So the Quakers taking out on the baseline, looking in, and thrown right to Takeo Staten Sylvester. He gives it up, and then he gets it back and gets the lay-in. So O'Day with a 16-4 lead here. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. We're live at Franklin High School, and the second of our doubleheader here as we start Metro League basketball right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. Franklin on the other end, and that is Takeo Staten Sylvester with the steal. And then, a great pass over to Max Debick. And Tony Debick bumped and still got the left-hand lay-in in his offhand, and he'll go to the line. Three-point play, or at least try for the three-point play the old-fashioned way.
And O'Day just looking like they've been coached well right now. Yeah.
And they
prepared for this.
You make a good point, Tony, and they're playing like they have been playing all season, and this being the start of the season. So they really are looking good.
And, I had a chance to talk to Coach Jackson earlier, and it was just tough for them to be able to find the time, to get the gym, because so many sports are playing at once.
Right, yeah. Right. Long jumper for Franklin, and that was Amari Harris. Goes off the rim, no good. Rebound comes out to Jalen Ellis. And O'Day moving the ball. A great pass inside and a great block, but they're going to call a foul. So that was Russell McFarland got the pass on the baseline, was coming in for it looked like a dunk, but there Earl Riley III was check that. That was Takai Jeffcoat, and I believe Jeffcoat called. No, they called Joseph Robertson with the foul.
And so again, when I was talking to Coach Jackson, as you know, they've got two gymnasiums here, so we'd have girls on one side, but the boys on the other side. But they could not be, even though they're in separate gyms, they couldn't be in the
together.
building
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah. So a lot of restrictions, obviously, with COVID, and rightfully so. And in football, Tony, and with the precautions they took, there were only a couple, 2 or 3, if I'm not mistaken, during the entire football season, the total of 7 weeks where there were games canceled. So they did a really good job of controlling. A great drive inside, and that was number 21, Amari Harris, but ball won't go. And on the fast break on the other end, that's O'Day and number 20, Takeo, Staten Sylvester. And the junior guard giving O'Day a 21-4 lead here, Tony, with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter.
And O'Day extends that defense about 3 quarters.
And turnover, and O'Day on the run again. Oh, good. Oh, no-look pass. Jalen Ellis over to Takeo, Staten Sylvester. And O'Day is just making it look like they're in the track meet right now. On the other end, drive to the basket, and that's good. That is Tariq Harris. And Harris has all 6 of Franklin's points right now. 23-6 is the score here with 2:37 left to play in the first quarter.
And you remember from last year, Harris could put the ball in the hoop. So,
oh, yeah, no doubt.
I think they're going to be dependent on him heavily this year.
And Jalen Ellis misses a 3-pointer. Rebound comes down to Russell McFarland. McFarland misses, gets it back, puts it back again. Whistles blow. And I think McFarland is going to go to the line for 2 shots, Tony.
And, Rick, as we know with O'Day, they again grooming some younger players, some juniors and sophomores, and some folks that we didn't see here last year. Freshman Miles Goodman, he's about 6'7", 6'8". Hasn't been on the court yet. And again, you mentioned Russell McFarland in the game. Paolo Banchero not playing tonight.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see, will he be playing? I mean, he's already committed, I believe, and knows where he's going. So, given that this is, an unusual year in the spring season and a shortened season, some of these kids that have committed, like Paolo Banchero, some of the kids from Eastside Catholic, Jalen Noel, and so it'll be interesting to see if they will be playing. And O'Day with the steal on the break, missed layup, but there's a follow-up there. That is number 4, Dejae Perkins, with the follow-up, giving O'Day a 26-6 lead here, Tony. 3-pointer by Franklin. That was number 11, Jamari Jackson-Kins. It was no good. O'Day, and a great drive coming, but they're going to say he was fouled before he went to the basket. That was Dejae Perkins, and Perkins just took it all the way to the rack. Made the bucket, but the whistle was blown. He was called before, not in the act of shooting. And unlike the NBA, no bucket, and they'll take it out underneath. So O'Day moving the ball around. Franklin in a man, but Tony, that you may see Franklin move to a missed shot there, and Franklin on the run. You may see Franklin go to a zone because they are out man. They are undersized here against O'Day, and tough matchups right now for Franklin. Franklin misses on the one end, on the other end. Oh, great no-look pass to check that. That was Jalen Ellis over to Max DeBeck. And Debick gets the bucket, giving O'Day a 28-6 lead here. On the other end, Franklin, the jumper, that is Earl Riley III, won't go. And O'Day on the run, and the dish to number 5, Miles Clark, the sophomore, and he lays it in. And so, again, right now, it's kind of a lay-in drill for O'Day. They're getting the run on the missed baskets, and Franklin's not getting back, Tony.
And Franklin's coming down. They're not really setting up much offense here. Trying to get an early shot because, as you mentioned before, setting up once O'Day sets up on defense, kind of tough for him to do anything.
Yeah. And fast break there, miss, but then the follow by the sophomore Miles Clark puts it in, giving the Fighting Irish a 30-6 lead here. On the other end, bucket by Franklin. So Franklin on the board again. 30-8 is the score with 30 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. And that is a Jalen Ellis, a nice move, showing some strength, fighting through the defense there, and lays it in off the window for the bucket.
And you're right with O'Day right now. You got 34 points in the first quarter.
And the break and the slam, Max Debick. Or DeBeck is how I'll go with the PA announcer's pronunciation. They said DeBeck. And on the other end, Franklin Jump shot, a little runner, I should say, by Jamari Jackson Kins won't go. And at the buzzer, the jumper a little bit short, DJ Perkins. So at the end of one, we're live at Franklin High School, and the O'Dea Fighting Irish leading the Quakers 36-8.
Daniel Bellis, what do you have for us?
Hello. Yeah. Well, what I can tell you, Tony B, is Garfield and West Seattle, both their boys and girls squads are still are competing today. Girls basketball, the most recent report was at the half about an hour. Garfield up 33-16. No reports from the boys game. I'm sure that's currently in action right now. We do, however, have a report on some softball action. Roosevelt defeating Ballard 4-2. We're waiting on the score for Bishop Blanchette versus Holy Names and Nathan Hale versus Ingram. In baseball action yesterday, I think it's their second week of the season. Lakeside defeated Roosevelt 3-0. O'Dea with a close win over Chief Self 6-5. Bishop Blanchette's over Ballard 6-5. West Seattle with a spanking on Garfield 11 runs to 1. Ingram with similar on Prep 11-0 there. Prep defeated Ingram 5-4 in a close one. And Lincoln defeating Nathan Hale 6-1.
Thank you. And we're actually at halftime. I mistakenly called that the first quarter. That had to be one of the fastest halves.
Wait, are we? No, I think it was the first quarter. Yeah, first quarter, 8-minute quarters. So yeah,
Okay.
no, you were right. You're right. Yeah, that was only the first quarter. You gave me the play-by-play duties early, so I took them. I figured I said, well, Tony did the first game. He must be tired. So I'm thinking.
Well, this is your quarter.
Okay. So I want to remind our listeners we'll be back tomorrow at the Southwest Athletic Complex, Chief Sealth High School, Rainier Beach and Chief Sealth. The girls at 5:45, and then the boys at 7:30. You can hear it right here live on Rainier Avenue Radio. And the Quakers drive to the basket won't go, and O'Dea on the run again. DJ Perkins, nice move into the paint and a little soft left-handed jumper there. And DJ Perkins on the on the board there for O'Dea, giving them a 38-8 lead. On the other end, the lefty going in, and that was Jamari Jackson Kins, but it won't go. O'Dea on the run and a steal there. Earl Riley III, the little guy, 5'6". And I tell you what, it takes it all the way to the basket. Oh, and a great move inside. Earl Riley III. But hey, you got to get back on defense, and the long pass down, and there's Max Dibiak.
And O'Dea is just beating Franklin back down the court.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And so it's almost like, layup drill. They're getting the layups. On the other end, Franklin, the long jumper by Earl Riley III won't go, but Franklin with the offensive rebound. Oh, great cut to the basket. And then a short little jumper, that's Tariq Harris. And Harris on the board there, making the score 40-12 with 6:40 to go here in the first half. O'Dea and Franklin, the Fighting Irish, are leading the Quakers. Long jumper on the baseline, and that's a three-pointer by Takeo Staten Sylvester. And I tell you what, Staten Sylvester, only a junior. I remember him as a sophomore last year and got a lot of playing time. And again, some of these kids have grown out. You look at Jalen Ellis. It's interesting to see these guys, Tony, as they develop, from sophomore, junior to senior year, and they go from looking like kids to looking like men. And certainly we see that here with some of the guys out there on the court for O'Dea, who we've covered quite a bit the last few years. Checking back in for O'Dea is Jalen Ellis and also Owen Moriarty.
And then for Franklin, Cameron Eberhardt, 6'6" junior.
So the Quakers with the ball and driving inside, looking for something in the paint, then dribbling back out. That is Earl Riley III. It's Tariq Harris. And Harris, a little pump fake, the jumper up, won't go. Rebound comes down to the Fighting Irish, and they're off and running again, Tony. Oh, and open, a great pass. Oh, and that was the big guy, Max. Now I'm forgetting how to pronounce his last name.
Dibick.
And nice dish from Debick over to DJ Perkins, and Perkins fouled on the layup attempt, so he'll go to the line. He'll have 2 shots. So if you're just joining us, this is the second game of our doubleheader. We're here live at Franklin High School. Rick Dupree, Tony B, along with Daniel B and Taylor Kareem, bringing you live action. This is Metro League basketball is underway. And again, we will bring you tomorrow night. Join us at 5:45 for, we're going to be again out at the South High School, the Southwest Athletic Complex, Rainier Beach and Chief Sealth, 5:45 girls, 7:30 boys. And then Friday, April 30th, which happens to be my birthday, Tony, we will be at Garfield High School, Eastside Catholic, the girls at 5:45 and the boys varsity at 7:30. All of that right here on Rainier Avenue Radio.
So Friday's your birthday.
It is.
Happy early birthday, Rick.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? We'll have obviously the Garfield girls and boys won the championships.
Yeah.
Last year, Eastside Catholic girls were expected
to
be
win
in that game, but I think they got it to the Lake Washington, I think it was, and so we'll see. We know that Nolan Hickman transferred schools, so he won't be there. We'll see if JT.
I'm not sure. We'll have to see the rosters again. And understandably, Tony, these kids in the jumper, and that is Tariq Harris with the baseline jumper for Franklin. And understandable, kids that have committed, probably in communication with the colleges where they're going and determining if it's worth it for them to play. Oh, and a great kind of the Euro step, if you will. Tariq Harris, and a nice bucket for the Quakers there, and making the score 44-16 with 5 minutes to go here in the first half. And O'Day getting a little sloppy in there. A half-court offense here. Dish out to Jalen Ellis, and it won't go, but there for the follow-up is Max DeBeck. And DeBeck puts it back, giving the Fighting Irish a 30-point lead, 46-16. On the other end, the block by Owen Moriarty, and then O'Day on the run. And lay in there, that is Takeo, State and Sylvester. Yeah, and again, the Fighting Irish, Tony, they are, whether it's a made basket or a missed basket, they are getting out and running. And Franklin's just not getting back at this point. So with that bucket, O'Day leading 48-16, and the jumper, and that is number one, Tariq Harris. And Tariq Harris trying to keep his team in the ball game here, 48-18. On the baseline, the jumper, and that's another three-pointer for DeJay Perkins.
DeJay for three.
So, Tony, we do have the 40-point mercy rule. So if O'Day goes up by 40, and that is on the other end, that is Tariq Harris slipping down. And looks like maybe there's just, a slick spot on the court. But what I was going to say is, the WIAA rule, if a team goes up by 40 points, whether it's football, basketball, whatever the case may be, and if it's in the first half, they continue to have the normal clock stoppage, but then the entire second half will be played with a running clock. Okay. If it happens in the second half, at whatever point in the second half that occurs, then the clock will be running from that point. So just, they call it the mercy rule. And it looks like we may hit that 3:53 left to go here in the second quarter. And O'Day leading Franklin by a score of 51-18. So the Quakers on the run. And a pass inside, and that is Takai Jeffcoat, the 6'3 senior, powering up for the lay-in. And he's saying, not so quick, Rick, talking about a 40-point lead. So the Fighting Irish on the other end, moving the ball around. And a pass inside, and loose ball, but comes down into the hands of Owen Moriarty. Moriarty gets it, misses, gets his own miss, and then is fouled. So the junior guard, Owen Moriarty, number 22, will go to the line. He'll have a couple of shots.
And, Franklin's going to have some pride with it. These kids know each other off the court.
Oh,
These
yeah,
kids play together
exactly. Yeah.
All the time. And so there's going to be some bragging rights here. Even with the score, I think you're going to see a lot of fight in the Franklin Quakers. Obviously, O'Day, one of the better teams in the state.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's tough. Again, like we said, they outman Franklin in the sense that they are just much bigger than Franklin. And so, again, I'll be interested to see at halftime if Coach Craig Jackson and his staff decide to change up the defense, maybe give a little half-court pressure, then drop back into a zone. But one of the things they're going to have to do, Tony, and we're seeing it, is O'Day is getting way too many fast break points. And so Franklin's got to get back after the missed shot. You got to have a couple guys go back. Somebody crashes the boards, but somebody's got to go back, and they're just getting beat often on that. We got a timeout on the floor, 3:23 left to go here in the first half, and O'Day leading Franklin by a score of 53-20.
And Rick, I just want to mention that if you or a family member are 55 or over,
I fall in that category.
and need nursing home level care, but want to keep living where you're at, check out Providence Elder Place PACE. Now, this program offers health care, housing, transportation, recreational activities. There are no copays or deductibles, and it's covered through Medicare and Medicaid. That's Providence Elder Place PACE, where they're working to keep you healthy and in your home. If you have any questions about this, give them a call at 206-320-5325, or you can visit at providence.org/Elder Place. Again, that's 206-320-5325.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Tony B.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I know that, and among who are other sponsors, we've got a few sponsors, and we want to say thanks to our sponsors for just allowing us to bring this broadcast to our listeners and to our viewers.
And that would be Seattle, or Public Health Seattle King County.
All right. So Franklin on the other end, Cameron Eberhardt with the ball, looking for something. Now he picks up his dribble and caught up the top, dishes it off to Kai Jeffcoat. Jeffcoat, a strong move to the basket, and he's going to be fouled by Sam Lipscomb. And so a fine move there to the basket. That was a strong move, again, by Takai Jeffcoat, the 6'3" senior. He'll go to the line. He'll have 2 shots.
You know, and on behalf of Public Health Seattle and King County, I want to remind everyone, Rick, that as of April 15th, everyone over the age of 16, if you are so inclined, you're eligible for a COVID-19 vaccination. You can find out more information about where you can get your shot at. Just get in touch with Seattle King County Public Health.
And, you know, Tony, some people question, hey, do I want to get a vaccine? And I was watching CNN before I came here this evening, and they talked about, you know, you look back in January, and there were upwards of 300,000, infections throughout the nation, on a daily basis. And now it's down, I think, in the 50,000 range. Still way too many. But with that said, we are seeing a turn and seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. The CDC released new standards today, and if you are a fully vaccinated adult, you can be outside in particular settings with no mask. But again, we still want to be careful, because the key is, I mean, we are not anywhere close to that. Let's say 70 to 85% of people being vaccinated are they're called herd immunity. So we still have to be careful and realize that this can spread, but we are seeing some inroads in it. On the other end, and a strong drive to the basket, that is Owen Moriarty, and he's fouled, gets the bucket, and he'll go to the line for, check that. They call it offensive foul. Offensive foul. So Owen Moriarty, a strong move to the basket, but Franklin player was set, and they call Moriarty on the offensive foul.
And as you mentioned earlier, playing with masks on, and at this point, Rick, it's a potential perilous situation, because we're a 50-50 nation right now. Half the folks vaccinated, the other half not, and some folks still unsure about what they want to do. And with the ability to not wear a mask, there may be folks who aren't vaccinated who choose not to wear a mask, and you just won't know what's going on there.
That's a really good point. But I mean, it's funny, because all these people, and O'Day on the other end, and as you said, Tony, earlier, some young players, and that was one of those young players, junior Russell McFarland, with the basket inside, giving O'Day a 55-20 lead. But Tony, you have people questioning whether the mask, and it's a hoax, and this, that, and the other. And I just say, use common sense. When you look at the medical field, if they're doing surgery, what do the doctors have? The doctors have on a mask, and it's because it prevents the spread of disease. And so, again, you can sit there and feel like, okay, you don't believe what's going on or what have you. But the other thing is that the spread of the flu this flu season was almost non-existent. And so again, it's just use your common sense. I mean, we got to stop making this a political thing. It's not a Republican, a Democratic's not a conservative, liberal. I mean, this is real, and I wish people would understand that.
And it did not help when the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was recalled. and in particular in some communities, just raised a lot of suspicion. But again, we were only talking about 6 or 7
People, yeah.
cases out of
Yeah.
6 or 7 million.
Yeah. But you know what gave me faith in that, Tony, is the CDC said, okay, no, let's halt this.
Yeah.
So that they said, no, let's check this out and did the due diligence. And but I think that's important. And yeah, especially for in the Black community in particular, the history in this country, from the Tuskegee, experiment to all the things. I mean, there is reason for us to have question, but the good thing is that there are so many. Both of us have been vaccinated, fully vaccinated, and there are so many people going out saying, "Hey, this is safe." One of my brothers is a doctor, and talked about that early on, and so hopefully our community and communities of color that may be suspicious are realizing that, oh no, this. I mean, you look at all the vaccinations you get as a child and what have you, and so again, I know people are skeptical, but this is what we have to do to turn the corner on this pandemic.
As much as we enjoy bringing these games to you, we want you back here in the building with us.
Exactly. Very good point. And so with 1:51 left to go here in the first half, O'Day with a 35-point lead, 55-20 over the Franklin Quakers. And O'Day, there was a scramble, balls out of bounds, so O'Day will check it out. And a pass over from the inbounds over to number 5, Miles Clark. And Clark missed the jumper, but there the follow-up. And again, O'Day.
And so, just kind of a little carelessness on that inbounds pass.
Yeah.
Rick, and
yep. And Franklin, so again, that's you got to pay attention. Make sure you're not stepping over the line and what have you. So O'Day will take it with a 37-point lead. And Jay Perkins, a strong drive in there. And great defensive play. That was a Josiah Taylor. And Taylor blocking the shot, and they called basically a travel with Perkins going up and coming back down with the ball. So really good defensive play there. And the Quakers take it over. And on this offensive end, moving the ball around, and our guy, Tariq Harris, who has kind of kept this team on the scoreboard. Harris, another baseline jumper, puts it in. Jay Perkins, and a great move, and then a dish over to Russell McFarland for the two-hand slam. I tell you what, great play by Jay Perkins, drawing the defense in and then dishing it over. So again, O'Day leading 59-22, 55 seconds left to go here in the first half. And Tariq Harris over in the pass, and they're going to call an offensive foul. Yeah. Yep. Josiah Taylor. The 6'2 senior called on the offensive foul, kind of lowered the shoulder. So with 49.2 left to play, the Fighting Irish leading 59-22. A 37-point lead here, Tony. And that is Jalen Ellis with the ball, comes across half court and finds Takeo Staten Sylvester back on top and over onto the left side, and back to Ellis on the baseline. Now he brings it out up top. And O'Day moving the ball, and Franklin, tough defense there. Ellis with the ball, loses it, but gets it back, puts it up, won't go, gets his own rebound, puts up, he's going to be fouled. Boy, I tell you what, Jalen Ellis, the senior guard there, Tony, showing some grit and some toughness under the basket, missed his layup, got his own rebound, and fouled on the putback.
And I like Franklin aggressively with the smaller squad. But again, then they're going to give up a lot in rebounding.
Yeah.
With the height. But
well, and part of that is, again, I mean, like I said, it'll be interesting to see if Coach Jackson and his staff figured, like, let's give running a zone a try. I mean, you got a little guy. I mean, that's something I had to deal with and you got to learn how to box out those bigger guys and, use your fundamentals and what have you. But yeah, again, O'Day outside. O'Day's gone with somewhat of a smaller lineup. Second free throw, in and out, won't go. A loose ball, and O'Day gets it back. The jumper off the window, and that is a Mason Williams, giving the Fighting Irish a 40-point lead, 62-22. And we got 10 seconds left, and the Quakers looking. Tariq Harris with the jumper, won't go. The rebound comes down to Miles Clark, and the jumper at the buzzer, and it gets stuck on the brim there, and it was wouldn't have been good anyway. It came right after the buzzer. So at halftime, Tony, the Fighting Irish with a 40-point lead, and again with the mercy rule, it should be the second half will be a running clock the entire second half by WIAA rules.
If you're Jason Kerr, you have to like what your team has been doing offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
Moving the ball, going after loose balls, rebounding well, moving in the open court, and so that's what you coach them to do, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Franklin. And again, another note that we have is we're at halftime and we're looking because they can't go into the locker rooms.
Right.
So, but Franklin and again, Coach Jackson had told me just trying to find the time to practice was a struggle for these guys. And so they would sometimes get to practice, but they wouldn't get out of practice because they would get in so late until 9 o'clock, and then they'd have to get up in the morning and go to school. And they've just it's been a bit of a struggle for Franklin this year, but they're coming out.
They're here. Yes, they're here. And I think all the schools, Tony, I mean, some having, if private schools maybe having a little bit more flexibility and being able to get into the gym and what have you, but still, regardless, modifications to what they are normally able to do. And it's tough. It's really cool being in the gym here as you look around. I mean, not only the banners on the walls, but then look over here and Jason Terry's number 31. Jason was here 91 to 95, and obviously he's got an NBA ring when he's with Dallas and coaching now. And I've heard his name mentioned, and it would be great to see if we can get him back here, in the state of Washington, maybe out at the University of Washington, but at some point. But you look on the wall, you got Jason Terry. So they've got really nice little banners with the pictures of the players and the sport to play. Jason Terry for basketball, Ryan Phillips football, Ron Santo, remember the great baseball player. Fred Hutchinson, a lot of people don't know that. Franklin, baseball player. And then I'm looking over on the other side here, and a couple guys I don't know. Bryce Taylor, football, and that looks like that's back in the maybe 30s, man.
The leather helmet.
I don't know. John White from rowing. Corey Dillon. Many of us remember Corey Dillon, who's
running back.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, just say he had that breakout season at UW, and went on and had a great NFL career in Cincinnati and New England. And Mario Bailey, obviously, and we mentioned AJ Brooks a minute ago, but his younger brother Aaron Brooks, who went on to have a fine career in the NBA. Rhonda Smith, Trent Johnson coaching at Cal on the bench there. Aaron Pierce, Terry Metcalf. You talk about both Terry and Eric Metcalf, but Terry Metcalf was just here. I mean, he was phenomenal. And Terry was here at Franklin with one of my brothers. They're the same age. And I remember, and Tony, you remember this, back in the day when we were kids playing electric football, and so I remember having my St. Louis Cardinals team, and number 21, and that was here. I had to make sure that, you put the little base on it. I had to make sure it was one of those fast bases. Because he's fast, so, yeah. Also, Bill Wright, great golfer, and one of the first African-American golfers. And if I'm not mistaken, Bill Wright also, you see there's a plaque up at the Jefferson Golf course, and you can imagine back in the day when he was golfing. I mean, really nobody that looked like him with his skin color and all of the things that he dealt with. Also looking Rick Noji, James Hasty, Jesse Chapman. Yeah, so some great names here, and great history around this gymnasium, and recognizing all of the history and accomplishments that student athletes here at Franklin have accomplished.
Rainier Avenue Radio App. Well, basketball is back. We're excited to bring you basketball, spring basketball. We're going to be bringing you baseball as well, Rick. So it's going to be pretty full here on the sports broadcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Tony, I want to remind our listeners to join us tomorrow, 5:45. We'll bring them Rainier Beach and Chief Sealth. That game out at Chief Sealth at the Southwest Athletic Complex, and that'll be followed by the boys game at 7:30, and then Friday, Eastside Catholic and O'Day girls at 5:45. That'll be a great matchup there, and the boys at 7:30. So, yeah, definitely keep it tuned right here to Rainier Avenue Radio. You can either go to the website and click on the listen, or you can get the app, or go to YouTube or Facebook and go to Rainier Avenue's page is there, and click on, and you can not only hear us, but you can see the game as well. And of course, Twitch is another resource there, so you can see the game. So we are just excited that we can stream these games and bring it, because obviously fans are not allowed. So spread the word. And if you've got a kid or a grandkid or friend or whatever playing, let people know. And this is a way we can bring it right to you in the comfort of your home or on your phone, wherever you may watch and listen. You can access us again on our website. That's Rainier Avenue Radio.world, or on the app. Just download the free app. And actually, the app is great, Tony. And it actually is just a little bit more user friendly and a great way to listen to us. And then again, you can see us on Facebook's page. Go to YouTube, Facebook Live, or Facebook, I should say, and then go to the Rainier Avenue Radio and Live, or Twitch.
And the cool thing about it, Rick, is if you're with us right now, stay with us, because what's going to happen is you're going to see some of these kids start to develop. They had a shortened practice season to start with, and
good point.
They're going to get into shape. And as we get about 4 games into this, you're going to start seeing some of these players turn around a bit. Like what you may see here from Franklin today, 3 or 4 weeks from now, you may see a completely different team out here.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah.
And it's just going to be fun to watch the players evolve during, again, this shortened season. I think that we know that we're going to have some players who are going to ball, but I think that we're also going to have some players who get their opportunity here and take advantage of it and use this opportunity to shine. And, I got to say this, Rick, in this shortened season, for some players, this becomes really important. You got your Paolo Bancheros and your JTs who are signed, but you got some other kids out here. They're trying to get school paid for.
Yeah, they really are. That's a really good point. Yeah, the Nolan Hickmans, the Shane Noels, all those guys, and many others, they have options. It's interesting because we last year covered a number of Seattle Academy games. We hope to bring our listeners and our viewers a few of the Seattle Academy games this year. They've expanded in the Emerald Cascade League, but Leo DeBrule, who is the starting point guard at Seattle Academy and the MVP of the league his sophomore and junior year, he's a kid who's a great player, but not quite at that level, at least seen by the scouts and the different schools at this point. I say scouts, but the recruiters and what have you. But he and players like him that were looking for that summer AAU circuit to really showcase their abilities. They didn't get that chance. And so, yeah, like you said, so this spring shortened season, and most of the leagues are playing, I guess Kinko started a couple weeks ago, are playing about a 6-week schedule. And this is a critical time for those kids, like you said, Tony, that are looking to get their college paid for and to continue playing a sport that they love at the next level.
And we're not necessarily just talking D1. We're talking some guys who are going to be playing some D2, maybe even D3.
Yeah.
Ball or get that opportunity to go to community college and work on this. So we're gonna have some exciting basketball for you here during this shortened season, and probably a few surprises.
Yeah. Well, Tony, you make a good point. I mean, whether it's D1, D2, D3, whatever the case may be, I mean, what a blessing is it to be able to continue doing something that you love, that you've been doing. I mean, you and I grew up together, playing at Rainier, playing Little League football, basketball, we played everything. But, the opportunity to continue playing a childhood sport that you love and the potential of having it pay for your education, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
And so this is really critical for a lot of those players. So I'm glad we've got basketball back.
So we got about a minute left on the clock, and we will start the second half. O'Day leading Franklin, Tony, here 62-22. And again, you made some good points. I mean, O'Day doing pretty much what they want. Coach Kerr and his staff, they have to be pleased with that first half. And if I'm Craig Jackson and his staff, I may look at trying out some things. Like, hey, this is the first game. Let's see how it's on. Because one of the things that can neutralize a team that's bigger than you, it is a zone. You force them to be able to hit a jumper. And so maybe you do that. Maybe you get a little half court pressure trapping on the on the ends there, and so there's some things that certainly you can do to maybe force some turnovers. But I think the biggest key that I saw in this first half, Franklin's got to get back after a missed or made shot. They've got to get back on defense because O'Day just had far too many easy. It was like a track meet. They were doing a layup drill and they were beating Franklin down and getting some easy buckets. So again, hope you're enjoying our coverage of Metro League basketball, and we are starting the second half here. The Quakers will take it up. They're going from left to right as we look at it, going to the right hoop, and O'Day will be going on the other end. So the Quakers with the ball. Tariq Harris defended there. Tariq Harris, shifty moves. Oh, great cut to the basket, and he found Joseph Roberson, but Roberson couldn't hang on to the ball, and it goes out of bounds. But that was an excellent half-court offensive set there for Franklin. Just couldn't convert.
Yeah, it was. And they came out, they ran some offense, they made a couple cuts to the pass, and ended up with a nice shot. And that's what you want to see. You're doing for it. You want
absolutely. O'Day on the other end, and we're going to have a foul call. That is number 11, Jamari Jackson-Kent. And on the spin there, Tony, that was Owen Moriarty, and it kind of lost his footing. And I tell you what, if Jamari would have just kept his hands off of him, it would have been turnover. But the foul call, so O'Day has a new 30 seconds. And they lead it 62-22 here at the start of the second half. And the pass inside to the big guy, that's Max Debick. And outside, that is a jumper. Jalen Ellis won't go, but a follow-up there won't go. That was Mason Williams. And a fight for the ball. And let's see, they call a jump ball.
That was a heck of an effort there by Takei Jeffcoat. I guess they did call possession in favor of O'Day.
Yeah. So jump ball, O'Day had the possession, so arrow now go toward Franklin. So the jumper on the baseline, and that is good. That was Max Debick, the senior, the big guy, and shows that not only can he put it down above the rim, but can shoot the jumper as well. So giving O'Day a 64-22 lead. Quakers on the other end looking for something. And I tell you what, the O'Day man-to-man defense has just been smothering. And coming in looking for the ball is tipped out of bounds, and that will remain in the possession of the Quakers. And
active O'Day on defense.
Yeah, they are. Checking in for the Quakers, number 21, sophomore Amari Harris. So the Quakers have it with 10 seconds on the shot clock. And you hear the Franklin cheerleaders right in front of us. Oh, and good move there. That was Earl Riley III, and finds the freshman out on top, but the freshman Amari Harris can't get the bucket, but Franklin with the turnover, or I should say forces the turnover. They got the ball back. And on the other end, Tariq Harris with the baseline jumper, won't go. Rebound comes down to Jalen Ellis, and Fighting Irish are off and running. Ellis across the timeline, and no look pass, and just a little bit out of control. Max Debick can't handle it. And Coach Kerr says, hey, let's call a timeout. And that's the thing. Here, you're leading here by 42 points, but a play like that, and he says, wait a minute, let's not get sloppy here. Let's keep within ourselves and what we do. You talk about a well-coached team.
Definitely don't want to pick up any bad habits. And Rick, we were talking about again COVID. It took about 20 minutes for me to get into this gym.
I was gonna say something when I come out. I said, yeah, thanks for letting me know. You got to, but it's great. You have in Seattle Academy, we have the same thing. There's an online screening, program that you have to log on to and answer some questions or what have you, and then get the green check, and then they let you in. But no, I mean, again, and we're here. I hope our listeners can hear us. Okay, we're wearing masks. In football, we're outdoors, so when we call the game, we're able to take the mask off. Here we're inside having to keep the mask on, so our voices may sound a little muffled, and the players likewise playing with the mask. But you get used to it, and for these kids, Tony, it's like hey, I get a chance to play the game I love. And inside the pass by Franklin, and Joseph Robertson brings it down and lays it high off the window for the bucket.
We'll get you. It was all foreign to me, Rick, because I hadn't been going to many places. And football was again, like we said, there were some restrictions there. But they got this gym on lockdown.
Oh, yeah, they really do. And I think you said on the other end there, O'Day with the basket. I think, Tony, you said, and each of the schools a little bit different, and I believe at Garfield, if I'm not mistaken, Friday, in between games, they will clear the gym out, they will spray it down. And it's good. Again, and like I said, I mean, my hat's off to Seattle schools and to the athletic office, Pat McCarthy and his staff. And in the football, I believe, I was talking to Tara Davis, and I believe there weren't more than 3 or so outbreaks, not just the outbreaks, but instances where somebody came down with COVID and they had to cancel a game. So, given over a 7-week period, I mean, that's pretty doggone good. And again, giving these kids a chance to get out here and play. a sport that they love. It's just so important.
Nice dish and a bucket from Dibek on the other end. Franklin misses a shot, and Dibek all by himself.
Oh, and was gonna dunk it, but then got up there. So, let me lay it in. So O'Day with a 70-24 leading. Yeah, the clock is running, Tony. So again, that 40-point Mercer rule. We talked about that in the first half. If a team goes up by 40 points or more in the first half, the clock in the second half will be running clock, and so it'll only stop on timeouts. And so again, they are taking the ball out, and the clock is still running. So 3:25 and running to go here in the third quarter. O'Day leading 70-24. And the little guy, that is Earl Riley III, drives baseline, finds on the other end, that is Joseph Roberson with the jumper on the elbow there, won't go. And loose ball there and knocked out of bounds by Earl Riley III. So O'Day will retain possession. Checking in for the Quakers, number 0, Takai Jeffcoat. And the Fighting Irish, 22 on the shot clock. Take it out up top. That is Takeo Staten Sylvester. Baseline jumper for 3. And that's good. That is Owen Moriarty. And the junior knocks down the 3-pointer. And Franklin on the other end, Earl Riley III. And he is stopped on the baseline. Still looking to try to drive the baseline. And then finds Takai Jeffcoat. Jeffcoat with strong drive to the basket off the window. Won't go. And the Fighting Irish off and running. And that is Moriarty once again lays it in.
A little, just a taste of showtime.
Yeah, just a little bit there. And on the other end, a strong move inside for Franklin. That's Takai Jeffcoat with the basket. 75-26, 2 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. And O'Day almost loses the ball. That was Tariq Harris going for the steal, but he didn't get it. And on the shot, that's Jalen Ellis, the senior guard. And Jalen Ellis, by the way, his younger sister, Jordan, is a student at the Seattle Academy.
All right. So what do you think, Rick? You think A-Rod is going to bring Minnesota Timberwolves to Seattle?
Wouldn't that be something? I highly doubt it. However, because I think Adam Silver, and I wouldn't say necessarily different than David Stern, but Adam Silver, I think, has made a point saying, we don't want teams moving.
Yeah.
And they've really helped, like New Orleans. There were a couple of franchises that were kind of fragile. And over the last few years, they really strengthened them. And so, I do think, though, that you will see the NBA sooner than later in the next few years. They will expand, and they'll likely expand. Well, not likely. They'll expand by 2. They want to keep an even number. And I think a place, honestly, Tony, where you're going to see the next NBA franchise will be here in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And so that may be sooner than people think. Maybe not soon enough for many of us basketball fans, but I think it'll happen sooner than later. And Franklin on the other end, a strong move up by Jaden Thorne, won't go, and the Fighting Irish on the run, moving the ball around on the perimeter. And that is Antone Arujo has checked in for the Fighting Irish, and the Fighting Irish moving the ball on the perimeter, looking for an open player. 9 seconds on the shot clock. And the pass out on the left baseline, the 3-pointer, that is Antone Arujo, and won't go, but the Fighting Irish get it back, and the short jumper in the paint, and that is Sam Lipscomb. And Lipscomb hits the bucket. And another timeout. O'Day leading 79-26, Tony, with 5.9 left to go here in the third quarter.
Daniel Bellis, what do you got for us?
DB, what you got for us up there? Daniel Bellis in the house.
Yeah, Garfield and West Seattle is having a very interesting contest. Garfield is 26-4. And the report that we're getting actually is that they held West Seattle 2 for 25 from the field.
Wow.
To make that 26-4 at the half. The girls finished their game with Garfield winning that one 65-36 over West Seattle.
So I think what we're seeing here, Rick, and what we're going to see in these early stages is the powerhouse teams. are going to come out a little more well organized.
Yeah.
Than some of the other teams initially when we start this season.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Tony. They'll have a chance to have, I think, worked a little bit more together, and again at the higher level, those kids. But I think you made a good point earlier in the first half, saying that the team we see in Franklin today is not the team we're going to see 3-4 weeks down the line. And as the season progresses, these guys are going to come together. They're going to gel together. I mean, they're getting the opportunity now to play together and to be able to practice. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the WIAA, the requirement is you have to have 10 practices in before you can play. And even though and those aren't necessarily team practice, and I know certainly for football, and talking to Reggie Witherspoon, the Garfield head coach, was saying that he was meeting with players in pods and what have you early on, and so that was during the off season leading up to the season. So that may be the case where they haven't had a full team practice, but each kid got 10 workouts in. Now I believe they do have the ability that they are definitely having those team practice, and that will help. So I think, again, we're going to see some different looking teams as we go into the season. That's the end of the third quarter. O'Day leading at 79-26. I want to remind you that join us tomorrow night. We'll be out at the Southwest Athletic Complex, and we'll bring you a doubleheader out there as well, Rainier Beach and South. And then Friday, we're at Garfield for Eastside Catholic and the Bulldogs. Both nights, the girls' games at 5:45 and the boys at 7:30.
And so O'Day going to the bench now, but still, Rick, even as we're talking about this, there's some players that we saw for this team last year, like Jalen Ellis, Jay Perkins, Max Dibick, Takeo State, and Sylvester. Coach Jackson, he's still getting to know his team. They didn't get a lot of practices in, so a lot of new players on the team. And so we'll see how this shakes down. But it's going to be I think it's going to be an interesting season this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the start of the fourth quarter here, O'Day leading Franklin 79-26. The Quakers with the ball. Drive to the basket. That's Tariq Harris. And acrobatic move, and he's fouled. He's looking at the ref saying, hey, man, I was hit. And the referee agrees with him. So Tariq Harris will go to the line, the 6'1" senior. And he will have, I'm checking out, I love his shoes. He's got the older Jordans, but Franklin's colors are black, green, and white, and his shoes are red and black.
And I'm looking at those shoes, and I think that's where the one came on the 6 foot. I think I tell you, see, back in the day, you remember we were at Rainier, man. I used to, when I was on the Pee-wees, I took my whole team's helmets home, painted the face mask white. They had to look good, man. Had to match. I remember one of those face masks was mine. Yeah. Remember we had the Pumas, and the white Pumas would dye the Puma stripe green and what have you. It's like, man, we had to be matching. Nowadays they wear multicolored shoes and what have you. I'm like, I'm not feeling that, man. It's not with team colors. Nice little inside move there for Anton Arajo. So if parents or Anton are watching, well done. Yes. We'll get to see some of the players today that we probably wouldn't ordinarily see. Yeah. Very good point. So the miss there knocked out of bounds by the Fighting Irish. So the Quakers will retain possession, Tony, and they'll have a new 30 on the shot clock. And they pass it in on the baseline, looking for some room. That's Tariq Harris. And posting up was Takai Jeffcoat, but stepping in for the steal is Sam Lipscomb. And then the break on the other end for the Fighting Irish, Jalen Ellis with the bucket. And I tell you, Ellis is a senior this year, and then you can see, just looking more mature and playing a stronger game, not afraid to take it inside. And, Jalen Ellis last year, just a great defensive player, some great defensive plays. Nice acrobatic move inside. That's Tariq Harris, who won't go, gets his own rebound, puts it back up. And Tariq Harris took about 3 little steps in there to get to that point. But the ball went in, and again, I'm looking at Bankero's not here. Yep. He may still be playing. We have talked about some of the players that we saw, and then Jerome Davis is not playing. So it's how good really is this team? Now, Christopoulos, is he still? John Christopoulos should be. He would. I believe he would be a senior this year, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't see him out don't here see him either. On the roster. Yeah, so. But they are still playing really well. So we're gonna find out pretty soon how good this O'Day team really is, because they look good out here today. Yeah, absolutely. Noel Davis with a strong move gets the bucket into the line and gets a 3-point play the old-fashioned way at the line.
giving the Fighting Irish an 86-29 lead. 5 minutes left to play here in the ball game, and got a bump coming down on Noel Davis, and so he's called the freshman for the foul.
I like the Earl Riley III.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Earl Riley III, list him at 5'6".
And that's counting the afro.
yeah. Yeah, back in the days, man, I ain't got no afro no more, man, Tony. My afro left me. The genetics said, And I tell kids, I said, just keep living. You're gonna whether it's the hair or the body, it's like, oh, getting up is like a whole different story. On the inbounds pass and the foul called on being a little bit aggressive there, Antone Arajo, and he's called for the foul.
You got it right. Keep on living.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Somebody said, "Oh, you're getting old." I said, "Oh, yeah." Well, okay. What the alternative is? So I'm okay getting older. And checking in for O'Day is the freshman Miles Goodman. Man, I'm looking at Goodman. He's got to be about Tony. I'm going to say maybe 6'7", 6'8".
6'7", 6'8", maybe 6'9". But again, one of those players.
Yeah.
That isn't getting the what we're seeing out here now, and for O'Day. And how good is this team really going to be? Yeah,
that's a good point. Oh, and a 3-pointer, that is Antone Arajo. And so we're seeing these freshmen come in, and Arajo freshman, Goodman a freshman, and Arajo hitting the 3-pointer, giving O'Day an 89-29 lead, 3:30 left to go in the ball game. Acrobatic shot. Oh, my goodness. Yes, Earl Riley III. An acrobatic shot among the Giants and gets it to fall down. He's knocked down on the ground, but he didn't let that stop him, Tony. I like his heart. On the other end, and that is Rajo with the ball. And turnover, and Franklin rather on the run. Earl Riley III taking in the lane, won't go. And fight for the rebound, and coming down with it is the freshman Arajo, Antone. And so play getting a little sloppy here. So Antone Arajo double team trying to get rid of it, and he does. And he found a teammate, Miles Dawson, but Dawson was in backcourt and came across and was not into the front court, and so they're going to call an over and back. And so with 2:40 left to play, the Quakers will take it over, trailing 89-31. That's a tough one, Tony.
Yeah, and that running clock just keeps moving.
Yeah.
Earl Riley Jr. Earl Riley III.
Yes, the third. Come on now. And his jumper won't go. Franklin getting the rebound, and player was fouled on the rebound, so the Quakers will take it over on the baseline. And as Amari Harris stepped back and looking for the shot, won't go. And he's got a cut. Earl Riley the third driving to the basket, and they're going to call Riley with a charge on that one. Earl Riley the third going to the basket hard, but he's called for the charging foul there. So the Fighting Irish taking over, ball across half court. And the big guy out front, that is Miles Goodman. And the Fighting Irish are moving the ball around on the perimeter outside the three-point line. And now driving in is Miles Dawson. Gets it out to the big guy. The jumper won't go. The big guy being Miles Goodman. But coming down with the rebound is Noel Davis. And Davis, freshman guard, I should say, gives the Fighting Irish a new 30 on the shot clock. Fighting Irish looking for something and tying up. And that is a great play by Josiah Taylor. And tying up Quincy Linton. And so O'Day will retain possession, or they'll keep possession. They had the arrow pointing their way. So with a minute left to go, Fighting Irish leading 89-31. And drive to the basket, shot won't go. That's Antone Arajo, but fight for the loose ball. And Franklin got on the floor, and Quakers come up with it. And on the run is Earl Riley III taking it to the basket. Oh, Riley!
Behind the back, scoop. Popped it up.
Yes, sir.
Off the glass and in. Earl Riley, the third.
Yeah, that's right. Don't forget the third, baby. With a great move to the back. I tell you what, 5'6", and I like his heart, Tony. He going into the land of the Giants. He said, I don't care. I'm taking it. And just some acrobatic moves where, he is getting the shot off and getting it in the basket. So great shot there by Earl Riley III. Making the score 89-33, 44.4 seconds. Forgive me. remaining in the ball game here, and this opener of the Metro League season right here on Rainier Avenue Radio, and the O'Day Fighting Irish with a commanding lead over the Franklin Quakers.
Your home for Metro League sports, and again, big thanks to Public Health Seattle, King County, broadcast, powering our broadcast. And again, I want to remind everyone that if you're over the age of 16, you can get a vaccine.
Yeah.
And call Public Health King County, and they'll let you know where the vaccines are available. And Rick, I think we're doing pretty good right now as far as vaccine availability is concerned.
Yeah, and you know, City of Seattle, State of Washington done a great job of making first COVID tests and now the vaccine available. And I encourage everyone to get the vaccine because, again, the CDC just released new standards. And if you're fully vaccinated, you know, there are a lot of instances now you can be outside without a mask. Now, obviously, they're saying if sporting events or what have you, still wear your mask. But you know, again, that's an incentive to go ahead and get vaccinated. It gets us closer to, you know, to where we've been. Quincy Linton with the three-pointer for O'Day, giving the Fighting Irish a 92-33 lead here with 24 seconds left to go in the ball game.
And again, a little scoop
shot.
Earl
Earl Riley the third. Yeah, scooping it underneath. Kind of a little, I want to say almost, you know, kind of step through it. Man, great basket there on the other end. The Fighting Irish with 7 and 6 and 5. And let's see, I think they'll just hold it, Tony, and won't take a final shot. And that will do it. O'Day, a commanding 92-35 win here at Franklin over the Quakers. And boy, I tell you what, and Craig Jackson stating his case with the referee on the last bucket. And I tell you, and Craig, you know, I love what Craig does. I mean, he is, you know, truly from the community here, cares about the kids, and again, you know, he is in it for the right reasons and really trying to develop, you know, these young men. And so that is just a wonderful thing to see. And again, just really appreciate, you know, guys like that we know, you know, we've grown up with, and their commitment to these young people.
Yeah. And again, you know, you got to come out, you got to play the game. That's the whole point of competition.
Yep.
But just knowing the challenges that they had during this COVID year of getting into the gym. A player getting familiar with your players, not having that ability to spend time with them in the off season. Like I said, a lot of these players play in the AAU over some of that. Didn't happen this year. And so, again, I look forward, Rick, to this year progressing and unfolding. And I think, again, by the time we get to week 3 or 4, some of these teams are going to start to catch up.
Yeah. They're going to be a different looking team. No doubt about it. And I mean, there's always things you can take away and learn and improve on. And that's something, you know, we know Craig Jackson, his staff well enough to know that that's what they're going to do. They're going to push these kids and they're going to challenge them and they're going to make them get better. You know, Ricky Frazier over there on the sideline. I mean, you know, he's got a great staff there. Number of you know, men that have grown up in this neighborhood and have just made a commitment to seeing youth develop.
And tomorrow, Rainier Beach and Chief Sealth. Interesting to see how that game unfolds as well. Some of the same dynamics in play there, and we'll see how Rainier Beach comes out, how Chief Sealth comes out, and then on Friday, boys and girls, Garfield, Eastside Catholic, what a lot of folks thought was two teams that were going to meet in championships last year. So Eastside Catholic might have a chip on their shoulder, and they've got they lost one player, Miracle. I don't remember the last name. Ended up transferring, but they've got Malia Samuels back, who as a freshman was MVP of the league. Yeah.
She is a fireball out there and just getting that team going offensively and defensively. And she is some player. And they just they've got a great program out there. And they were all, I mean, they didn't have, if I'm not mistaken, Tony, no seniors on that roster last year. Right. So everybody coming back, like you said, other than the one young lady that transferred they lost. So should be a great matchup Friday as we bring that in again tomorrow. We're out at the Chief Sealth High School, Southwest Athletic Complex. Make sure to tune in right here on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Mr. Bellis, we had the running clock here, so you may not have any finals for us, but I want to check in with you before we shut it down.
Yeah, just a report on that Garfield West Seattle game. Obviously, it's still in action. Our latest report is from the end of the third quarter, with it Garfield well in hand, 42-16 over West Seattle there. They seem to be on the sweep. The girls obviously won earlier, 65-36. And right here from Franklin, our girls game that we covered, Franklin was the winner against Holy Names, 52-38.
Well, Mr. Dupree, we have basketball. We're back.
We are back. We are back. Yes, sir.
And thanks to Taylor Kareem behind the scenes, and
Always doing a phenomenal job. I tell you what, she is the director running the show. There is no question about that.
and and thanks to again the DA here, Scott Griggs. Scott. I'll have to make sure. It might be Griggs. I think that's what it is. But again, working hard, to make sure that we were able to get in and broadcast this game, and again the challenges that they faced this year. So again, shout out to the ADs as well. It's been a rough period here, and I'd like to thank Scott for making us welcome here and just making sure everybody here was comfortable for this first game. I'm sure, getting this first game off and getting started, was a big challenge, and it made it happen.
Yeah,
made it happen.
No doubt.
Well, that's about it. And that's going to do it for us. So on behalf of Rick Dupree, Taylor Kareem, and D Money, Daniel Bellis, it's me, Tony B, saying I will be back tomorrow. Until then, remember, wake up at 9 o'clock and join us for Best Starts for Kids. We'll get that going. And just remember, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you are probably right. We're out. Peace.